Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to properly clean some really dirty tires and wheels. This car has been driving in some mud and dirt the past couple days, so the tires actually, well, the whole tire and wheels are actually really dirty. If you can see, I swiped my finger right there so you can actually see how dirty it is. And if you can't tell, the fender is completely covered in mud, dry mud at that. So this is going to be a great example for you guys to see how to properly and efficiently clean some really dirty wheels and tires. So don't worry about the tools that I'm using. I'm just going to give you a quick run through. I do have another video on that, but I'll just give you a quick synopsis of the video, the tool that I'm going to use. You do want 3 types of brushes. You want a brush that can fit in the back of the wheel. That way you can properly clean the back side of it. So there's a bunch of tools that you can choose from. I'm going to have a link down below, and I have another video on it, but link it down below to see what type of different brushes at price points that you can buy for yourself. Not necessary, but for this type of wheel, but you can use a lug nut brush if you have like really complex wheels, maybe aftermarket wheels or whatever type of wheels it is, and there's a bunch of crevices and nooks and crannies. Then a lug nut brush is perfect for that. Next, you need a brush for the fenders and for the tires. So this is the one I use, but again, check the link below to see all the tools that I have. This is also another tire specific brush, but I like to have tools with different applications. That way I can use one tool for different applications rather than just one tool for one application. That's the way I think. As far as products that I use, this is an APC all-purpose cleaner. This one's diluted 4:1 and this one's diluted 10:1. Again, just check the link down below and you can see everything that I have. So again, I like to have a very systemized process. I own a detailing business, so if you have a detailing business, you do want to have a system in place so you can work efficiently instead of working over yourself, and because obviously time is money. So I always do the fenders, then the back of the wheels or the tires, either one goes first, and then the face, because again, if you start with the face and then clean the back of the wheel, you're essentially going to clean this part off and then you're going to pull all the dirt back and it's going to get back on the wheel. So you're kind of just working over yourself a bit. So if you have customers or if you're trying to start a business, then this is kind of more ideal to have a really systemized process. So let me take all these out and let's begin. So I personally don't like to use a bunch of water just because I don't like to see a lot of water on the ground with a lot of water. So I do try to use the minimal amount of water that I absolutely can. But in this situation, it's actually pretty bad, so I'm gonna have to use a little bit more than usual. Let's just start by spraying it down. And bam, that got rid of 80% of all the mud and dirt that was in the fender. So let's spray some APC. And again, the trick to being fast, to keeping this under 5 minutes, is to essentially just move really fast. Again, if you have customers or if you're trying to start a business, you don't want to spend 10-15 minutes on one wheel. I mean, you can if you're doing high-end work, but typically, like, this is I'm not trying to spend half my day just cleaning wheels and tires, because in about 1 hour they're gonna go driving. It's probably gonna rain and it's gonna get back to a really bad condition. So move fast if you want to make money, or if you're just doing it by yourself and you don't want to spend all weekend cleaning your wheels and tires. But again, some people have aftermarket wheels, some people are car enthusiasts, so you do want to take a bit more time, which is understandable because so do I. And then we're going to rinse that because it got really dirty, so we just want to rinse some of that dirt off. And again, next step would be to get the tires. And again, I don't saturate the entire wheel. It's just enough to kind of get a light layering of it. And then we'll go from there. I'm kind of in a weird position because of the video, but we'll see my best. And again, if technically you can do this over and over to get every single bit of dirt out, but I'm actually gonna do one pass because it looks like, if you see more brown coming off, that means there's still dirt on there. But for the most part, there's a little bit of light brownish coming off, but for the most part it's white, which means it's pretty much clean. I'm not gonna wet down the tire because I'm about to work the wheel, so I'll clean the back of the wheel and the face of the wheel, and then rinse everything off just to get it all done in one go, instead of spraying the tire and spraying the wheel and all that good stuff. So now we're gonna work the back of the wheel. For this specific type of setup, this is the only brush that allows me to get all the way back there. If I use this one, this head's too fat, and then this, you know, this is still skinny, but it still doesn't let me fit as good as that brush right there. Mainly because this is just bristles and they're very flexible, and this is a bit more bulkier, you can say. So you just want to work the back of the wheel. Again, there's a bunch of types of brushes to do this type of work. I have a link down below. I keep on saying that, so you don't have to worry about what I'm using. But again, you do want to work fast. That's probably the biggest thing that's gonna speed up the process. Don't try to be all cute, for lack of a better word, or fancy looking and try to be there all day. The brakes here, the brake calipers actually won't allow me to clean the entire wheel because the clearance isn't there for me. So if you find yourself in that situation, all you have to do is literally just roll the car forward or backwards a little bit to move that space out the way, and then you'll be able to clean it. I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm trying to make a video. And then if you want, you can hit the brake caliper right there. That's why the lug nut brush comes in handy. Easy access here. But again, if you have multi-spoke wheels or some really fancy aftermarket wheels, you probably have a harder time getting there. It's all case by case. Every car is a different. As you can see, I didn't really douse the face of the wheel so much, just because there's already cleaner from the tire. The brush itself already has a little bit cleaner, so I'm not gonna waste all my product basically on just spraying, dousing down a wheel, because it's simply not necessary for me. But again, everyone's gonna have different process. You know, someone else could have a completely different process than I do, and it's perfectly fine. There's no set standard to this as long as the entire wheel gets clean. But I would say just don't work over yourself, just because there's no point in doing two things over and over just because you didn't kind of systemize or have a process in place. And that's gonna finish off pretty much the wheel. Now we're just gonna rinse it off. And like I said, that's why I didn't rinse off the tire. That way I can just rinse everything down at once. And for the most part, there it goes.